Welcome back to the Delaware Way. I'm Larry Menti. The abuse of fentanyl in Delaware is skyrocketing. Here to talk more about that is Rita Landgraf, who is with the Department of Health and Social Services. In fact, she's the Secretary of the Department of Health and Human Services. Thank you so much for being here.
Oh, thank you, Larry.
Let's start with what is fentanyl.
Well, fentanyl's a Schedule II, what they prescribed as a Schedule II drug, and it's primarily used for pain management, many times post-surgery. So for people who are legitimately experiencing a high level of pain, fentanyl is utilized for that. Similar to the opiate family, oxycodone, these are Schedule II drugs, usually are prescribed through a physician for the appropriate usage of fentanyl.
Explain what Schedule II means.
Well, and again, Schedule II drugs, many of which fall into the family, the opiate family, and opiates are primarily used like morphine for surgical pain, as well as for pain management for individuals who may be suffering from chronic pain.
And a Schedule II, that's just a designation for the doctors and the pharmacists to say, watch out for this? Is that what it is?
It is indeed. It's what we call a controlled substance, which means that it does have a tendency that people can abuse and become addicted to these Schedule II drugs. So for the physician, you really do have to monitor the usage of it. And for the individuals who may have a predisposition to an addiction, you want to be extremely careful in the prescribing of these drugs.
Are people mixing it with heroin in Delaware?
We are still seeing that. We are seeing what we call polysubstance use, where there is a mixture, and fentanyl and heroin can be mixed together. We're also seeing that the packaging by the drug dealers many times appears to be heroin, but in actuality it is actually fentanyl.
By the drug dealers? Where are the drug dealers getting the fentanyl?
Well, it's synthetic. It's a synthetic opiate, so people are making it within their labs. And again, some people are purposely looking for fentanyl, but also we know that some people are not aware that the heroin that they may be purchasing is actually laced with fentanyl, or may indeed be pure fentanyl. And fentanyl is a deadly, 50 times higher in potency than the heroin is.
How about when compared to other opiate-based drugs like Oxycontin or Vicodin or Percocet? Is it more dangerous than them as well?
It's about 50, yes, it's more potent than Vicodin, yep.
Are there certain people that take it and just can't get off of it? Is there something in their body that makes them addicted?
Sadly, there can be. People can have a predisposition to addiction, and we call this all addiction. I always say if I had a magical wand and could get rid of all the heroin tomorrow, I would still have an addiction epidemic. To the point now that the President and Congress are really looking at how do we address this epidemic. I'm a population health specialist, and for me, this is truly a disease of epidemic proportions.
If it's an epidemic in Delaware, what are you doing about it?
Well, we are, actually nationwide, we are coming together. Secretary Burwell, who's the Secretary of the Department of Health and Human Services, has called all the states together, and we're sharing best practices with each other. The President is actually asking for $1.1 billion within his budget to address treatment and recovery. In Delaware, I have been very grateful for the support that I'm getting from both Governor Markell and the legislative branch. They gave me $4.45 million in our current budget to look at how can we enhance our capacity to better support the large number of people who are impacted by addiction.
It seems like the country is moving away from law enforcement and more towards treatment. Is that the case?
That's quite accurate, and we sit down both with our Attorney General and with law enforcement to look at, can we divert people away from the criminal justice system? Can we use that as a point of intervention that when people get caught up, people who suffer from addiction lose a lot, and many of which end up in the criminal justice system. Commissioner Koop, who's our commissioner of the Department of Corrections, he tells me about 60% of people who are currently incarcerated have an addiction problem.
Wow.
So that just tells you the magnitude.
Thank you so much for coming in. Please come back. It's an important topic and would love to talk more about it.
Thank you for having me.
Rita Landgraf, who is the Department of Health and Social Services Secretary. Thanks again. When we come back, it's not an epidemic, but it's a real problem all across the country and especially in Delaware. The elderly falling, but there's a way that you can prevent it. We'll talk more about that when we come back.